Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, I would like to express my heartful gratitude to my supervisor, Dr. Hafizur Rahman, for their invaluable guidance, support, and encouragement throughout this journey. I also extend my appreciation to my external supervisor, Dr. Fatma Farouk and Dr. Asam Iqbal, for their insightful feedback and contribution to my research. Additionally, I also thanks Dr. Iram Batul, Chairperson, Department of Economics and Quantitative Method, Dr. Farad Rasool, Dr. Roxana Kaleem, Dr. Makbul Ahmed Sayal, Dr. Shahid Hassan for their teaching and mentorship, which have helped me grow as a researcher. I appreciated the time and efforts you all have invested in my growth and development. Your dedication and support have made a significant impact on my research journey. Thank you again for your unwavering support. Now I move towards my thesis topic is energy, health vulnerability, and ecological footprint, a long-run dynamics of developed and developing countries. Before starting the dissertation, first I discuss the layout of the presentation. In the first step, I will discuss the introduction, including research objectives, research questions, significance of the study, and connect the sustainable development goals with each objective. In the second step, I will discuss the theoretical framework, and fourth step, I will discuss the data and methodology. And fifth step, I will discuss the empirical result of my each model. And lastly, I'll discuss the policy implication and future research. We all know that in our daily life, energy is a significant impact in our daily life. And no one ignores the importance of energy because all economic activities are operated through the energy. In our daily life, all our operations performed by the energy. For example, modern houses, transportation, industries, and all other systems are operated through the energy. But unfortunately, most of the energy is used as a polluted energy. And this energy, the economies can higher, achieve higher economic growth, but they adversely impact their environment. IPCC forecasted that the global temperature increase, the global warming, and they predicted that in the next century, the temperature will rise from 2.5 degree Fahrenheit to 10 degree Fahrenheit in the next century. This is not as like the arrow in the air, but they predicted that uh, after the industrialization up till 1990s, the global temperature has increased only 2 degrees centigrade. But after 1992 till now, the global temperature has increased 1.5 degree centigrade. And they also predicted that this temperature will rise 2 degrees centigrade up till to 1930. It is a very alarming situation because the first 2 degrees centigrade has increased uh, within 300 years, but the next 2 degrees centigrade has increased within 40 years. And imagine if we continue to pollute our globe in this speed, about 1950, the global temperature will rise additional 2 degree more temperature. And think how human life can be existed in this globe. So policymakers and experts warn that failing to take immediate any step to reduce environmental pollution, it will damage our climate. So every country achieve to sustainable environment, which can be achieved through the sustainable development approach. In the first step, this study connect the sustainable development with the environment, and sustainable development measured by the economic, social, and environmental progress. And renewed Pakistani Dr. Mahbubul Haq under the platform of the UNDP developed the economic development by using the Human Development Index HDI containing income, health, and education. And he generated the index, and their values lie between 0 and 1. Closer to 0 mean lower economic development, but closer to 1 means higher economic development. Environmental degradation is measured through different proxies in the literature like CO2 emissions, greenhouse gases, particulate matters, and others. But this study uses the ecological footprint as a proxy because it is a broader, and it consists of the cropland, forest, grazing land, built-up land, fishing, and carbon footprints. Modern researchers like Krugman and Grossman 1995 connects the economic development in environmental degradation by using the environmental coordinate curve. In the preceding presentation, I will discuss how they develop the environmental coordinate curves. And we all know that environmental degradation directly affect our climate change, and which directly affect the human health. It causes injuries, infrastructure failures, illness, socioeconomic loss, and population displacement, which in turn health problem. German Watch estimated that in the last 2 decades, about 11,000 extreme events occurred and killed about 500,000 population, and many more people have displaced. In this regard, this study connects the health, environmental degradation with the health proxy. And health proxy is measured by the Health Vulnerability Index, which is generated by the Notre Dame Adaptation Index. And this index shows the mysterious effect of climate change on human health regarding adaptive capacity, exposure, and sensitive component. And Health Vulnerability Index contains different indicators like the slum population, infant mortality rate, deaths due to extreme events, and hospital staffs and other health indicators. And its value also lies between 0 to 1. Closer to means lower health vulnerability. Health vulnerability simple means the loss of health in a simple term. And 1 shows the higher health vulnerabilities. There is growing consensus among environmental agencies and policymakers to set new rules and regulations to combat climate change. In this regard, the Kyoto Protocol Conference has conducted in every year in the third conference of COP 3, which was conducted in 1997, recommended that different instruments to mitigate the climate change. In this conference, especially, they paid two main policies. One is environmental tax, and the other is green technological innovations. In the study, these two tools are used in my studies. In the, in the third step, the study used the green technological innovation as a moderator variable with the environment to mitigate health vulnerability. Green technology involves the new method of production and demand the smart use of natural resources by giving patent rights. It also includes renewable energy, industrial transformation, reduce reliance on the traditional energy to achieve the sustainable development and mitigate the environmental degradation. Green technological innovation plays a significant role in minimizing the ecological footprint by discouraging environmental degradation. Fourthly, this study connects the environmental tax with the environmental degradation to mitigate the health vulnerability. And environmental tax includes the tax on the energy products and food, transportation, motor vehicles, particular on managing natural resources, and their data is extracted from the OECD. Environmental tax boost green technological innovations which create job opportunities and encourage better ecological living standards. Now I discuss my research questions. There is a four research question is discussed in the study. First is, does the environmental Kuznets curve exist in the context of ecological footprint and sustainable development? My second research question is, what is the role of ecological footprint and health vulnerability? And my third research question is related to how does the moderation effect of environmental tax with ecological footprint decline health vulnerability? And the fourth is the moderation effect of green technological innovation with ecological footprint decline health vulnerability or not? And there is also four research objectives. First, to empirically verification of the long-run dynamics of the EKC based on ecological footprint and sustainable development. And my second research question is related to examine the long-run dynamics of ecological footprint on health vulnerability. And third is related to the moderation effect of green technological innovation with ecological footprint to determine the health vulnerability. And fourth is related to the investigating the role of dynamics of environmental tax moderation for determining health vulnerability in the ecological footprint. This study connects 5 different sustainable development goals, and which is goal 3 is related to the health and well-beings, and goal 7 is related to the energy and access to modern energy, and goal 8 is related to the sustainable economic development, productive employment and decent work, and goal 13 is related to the climate change, and goal 15 is related to the protection of the natural resources. In the significance of this study, this dissertation is significant because it will try to achieve the sustainable development goals. In the first step, it drives the empirical verification of EKC, and my objective will try to achieve the goal number 8 and goal number 13. And secondly, it identifies the long-run dynamics of higher ecological footprint on health vulnerability And this my objective will try to achieve goal 3, 13, and 15. Thirdly, it estimates the moderation effect of green technological innovation with ecological footprint to determine health vulnerability, and this will achieve goal number 3. And my fourth objective related to the moderation effect of environmental tax with ecological footprint determining health vulnerability. And this objective will try to achieve the goal number 3, 13, and 15. Now I move to the second chapter, which is literature review. In this section, I constructed the different subsections based on my research objectives. My first objective related to the EKC, and there is several studies which shows the inverted U-shaped relationship between economic growth and ecological footprint. It shows that the lower level of the economic growth means GDP increase, the ecological footprint means higher uh, environmental degradation. But after reaching a certain limit, it start declining ecological footprint, mean declining environmental degradation. These studies were conducted by the Ahmed et al. 2021, Nathaniel et al. 2021, and other many researchers. There are also literature which fair the EKC and propose a U-shaped relationship. It shows the lower level of the economic growth, decline, ecological footprint, but after reaching a certain limit, it increase environmental degradation by increasing the ecological footprint. In this objective, fossil energy is also significant determinant which increase environmental degradation by increasing ecological footprint. In view of the above discussed literature, there are not many studies which conduct the role of HDI on ecological footprint. This study contributes in this way, it uses the HDA instead of GDP to measure the ecological footprint. My second research question is related to the ecological footprint and health. There is a several literature which connects the ecological footprint with the health indicators like the price uh, covers different ecological footprint which covers different aspects of environment such as land, air, and water. Ecological footprint adversely impact public health. This was generated by Gelani and Young and Bice and Idun explored that ecological footprint increased death rates and declined life expectancy. Baru et al. And Stuxkeen et al. Found that ecological footprint increased infant mortality rate. After reviewing the previous literature, I found that there is not any study which examined the non-linear analysis of ecological footprint with the health vulnerability. This is my unique contribution in this literature. In the third step, my third objective is related to the moderation role of green technological innovation. Musa and Ottman explored that green human resources significantly improve the health sector. Jeong et al. Found that green technological innovation enhance life expectancy in Russia and China. Han et al. 2022 explored that environmental technologies improve the life expectancy. Morrison and Stornick concluded that technological progress reduced the fertility rate. There is scant literature that examined the moderation role of green technology in improving the health vulnerability. My fourth objective is related to the moderation role of environmental tax. Dogan discussed that environmental tax decline, environmental degradation in G7 countries. In Turkey, Talater and Brincy presented that the non-linear energy tax analysis of ecological footprint from 1994 to 2019. Their study found that energy tax significantly declined ecological footprint. Environmental tax improves the health sector by declining environmental degradation. Not many studies have measured this moderation effect of environmental tax on energy demand on health vulnerability. Research gap. Firstly, most of the study in the previous literature connect the EKC based on by using the ecological footprint and GDP and GDP per capita in developed and developing countries separately. But my knowledge and it explored that there is a limited previous literature that explored the relationship between ecological footprint and HDA. Secondly, few study directly measure the relationship between ecological footprint and health vulnerability. Instead, there is massive literature that examine the role of ecological footprint on health, other health indicators like infant mortality rate, life expectancy, and other health indicators. This study contribute to understand the long-run dynamics of ecological footprint on health vulnerability, potentially leading to significant implication for policy and practice. My third objective is related to the green technological innovation is used as a moderator to determine the impact of ecological footprint on health vulnerability. And there is also scant literature that explore this relationship. And my fourth objective is related to the environmental tax and which is interaction with the ecological footprint and used to declining the ecological footprint. This study will mainly diverge from the prevailing literature in methodological novelty, use of different explanatory variables, and the moderation effect of green technological innovation and environmental tax on energy demand to determine health vulnerability. There is several theories that connects my four research questions. The first theory is related to theoretical prospect of the new Malthusian economist, economic development environment. They argued that the unchecked population growth outstripped resources, leading to environmental degradation and hindering sustainable economic development. Theoretical perspective of the new classical economist, it also connect my first objective, economic development and environment. This was developed by the Grossman and Kruger in 1995. They developed the environmental Kuznets curves. They explored that the environmental degradation initially increased with economic growth, but after reaching a certain limit, it start declining. And my third theory that connects my third objective is the ecological system and human health and environment. This theory was developed by the Yuri Braunfan-Berner in 1970. He developed that the different environmental system impact human health and development emphasize the interconnectedness of individual and their surrounding ecological context. And my third objective is related to the human health and environment and by using the moderation effect of green technological innovations, and this objective is supported by the energy justice and capability approach, which was developed by the Amartya Sen. It's an Indian economist and Nobel Prize winner, and they, its aim is to provide equitable access to energy resources while safeguarding human health and the environment, ensuring individuals to achieve the well-being and well of life they values. And last objective is related to the moderation role of the energy tax. This objective is supported through the Pygmalion tax theory. This was developed by Pygmalion in 1920. He suggests that taxing economic activities that cause negative externalities such as pollution or congestion to correct market failures and escalate social efficiency. Practical framework. This is all of my thesis work. In the first step, there is a economic growth and EKC, economic growth and ecological footprint with energy demand and develop the EKC framework. And in my second is the role of ecological footprint on health vulnerability. And third is use of the green technological innovation as a moderator. And environmental tax is also used as a moderator with the ecological footprint to mitigate the health vulnerability. Data and methodology. My first objective is related to the derivation of the EKC model. To achieve this objective, I use 79 developing countries and 93 developed countries. And I use the panel data from 1992 to 2020. And its multiple regression is written as in the left side variable ecological footprint, which is used as the my dependent variable, and this was taken from the GFN, and this is measured ecological footprint per persons, means the share of every person, and HDI is a human development index, and this is extracted from the UNDP, and its value lie between 0 and 1, and closer to 0, as I discussed previously. Lower HDI and closer to 1 mean higher HDI. And LNFFEC shows the fossil energy consumption, and this data is extracted from the WDI, and industrialization, urbanization, and exports are used as a control variable, and these all variables are taken from the WDI. And LN shows the natural log. To construct my second objective related to the ecological footprint and health vulnerability, to achieve this objective, the multiple regression is written as HVI. My left side variable is called health vulnerability index, and ecological footprint is my independent variable, and because the ecological footprint shows the non-linear behavior, to capture the non-linearity, I use the quadratic terms as ecological footprint scale, and industrialization, urbanization, and export is used as a independent variable as a control variables. As usual, these variables are extracted from the WDA. To achieve the third objective, the multiple regression is written as because the third objective is related to the role of green technological innovations as a moderator. So the green technological innovation is used as an interaction term with the previous model. As you can see that in this model. Same, the model is here. The only addition is that I use the green technological innovation as a moderator. And this moderator is used in interaction term with linear as well as the quadratic terms. And my fourth objective is related to the environmental tax as a moderator. And this environmental tax proxy is also multiplied with the model number 2 as the energy tax is used an interaction term with the linear ecological footprint and the quadratic ecological footprint. And energy tax data is extracted from the OECD websites. And while the health vulnerability is taken from the Andy Gain Notre Dame Adaptation Index. And now I move toward the data and methodology. In the first step, I will construct the descriptive statistics of the results. It used to check the central dependency, central tendency, dispersions, and probability values. And then I use the bivariate analysis. This is used to weigh two variable relationship to expected the uh, expected relationship between the independent and dependent variables. And thirdly, I use the correlation matrix and variance inflation factors. It aims to check the issue of multicollinearity. Then I use different diagnostic tests to check the normality, heteroscedasticity, slope endogeneity, heterogeneity, autocorrelation, cross-sectional dependency tests. In the fifth step, I use the panel unit root test, which include the first generation and the second generation. These tests are used to check the staticity of the variables. In the sixth step, I check the panel co-integration test, which is used to check the long-run relationship between the dependent and independent variable. Lastly, the long-run results are estimated through the CS-ARDL approach and panel quantized regression PQR approach. And rationale of the choice of the CS-ARDL approach. This CS approach is a very helpful to address the cross-sectional dependency in the model. Usually in the panel data, cross-sectional dependency exists due to their similar cultures, interdependence of one country to another countries, and similar culture, language, religion, or other perspectives. So cross-sectional dependency, most of the cases existed in the panel data. The second, it measures the dynamic relationship. It captures both short-run as well as long-run dynamics between variable, allowing for comprehensive analysis of temporal relationship. This is also used for the non-stationary data set, and it's make a suitable for analyzing economic and financial time series data with unit roots. And rational choice of the PQR approach. It addresses heterogeneity in the model, outlier, and it is also used to robustness of these outliers on in case of not normally distributed distributions. Now I move toward the result and discussion portion. This is the result of my first objective related to the economic development and the sustainable environment. This table shows a descriptive stats which measures the mean, value, median, maximum, minimum, and standard deviations. Here we see the first variable, ecological footprint. The mean value of ecological footprint of developed countries is greater than the developing countries. It shows that the developed countries are contributing more environmental degradation as compared to the ecological footprint. See the value of HDI. The HDI value is also higher of developed countries as compared to the developing countries. As in different other variables are also used here, it is also observed that the mean values are greater than their standard deviation values, expect in fossil fuels and urbanization. To achieve this objective, different diagnostic tests are used. First, I use the multicollinearity test by using the correlation matrix and variance inflation factors matrix. When I use the correlation matrix, I explored that all values are less than 0.8. These shows that there is big issue of multicollinearity in the model. And when I use the variance inflation factor test, it also shows their values are less than 10, which also shows their weak multicollinearity test. When there is weak multicollinearity test, there is we can further use different econometric approach. Then I use the normality test, which was developed by the Sparrow and Wilk test, and their probability values are uh, less than 10. So it shows that there is the models are this model is not normally distributed. Then I use the cross-sectional dependency test, which was developed by the Pasran 2004. And this shows there is also exists cross-sectional dependency in the model. Heteroscedasticity test, which was developed by Brush and Pagan in 1979, and their probability values are also less than 1, which shows the presence of heteroscedasticity in this model. Slope heterogeneity is measured by Pasran and Yamagata in 2008, and their probability value, p-value of delta and adjusted delta are less than 1% level of significance, showing the existence of the slope heterogeneity. Autocorrelation is measured by the Wald Waldrich 1991 test, and their F value is less than 4, which shows the absence of the autocorrelation. And station is checked through the first generation and the second generation panel unit root test, and they explored that all variables become stationary at first difference of the level. And panel co-integration tests, cow test and Westerlos test are used. They both of the tests explore that there is this long-run relationship in the model. First, I use the CSARD results. Check the level coefficient of the developed country is positive, and the quadratic coefficient of HDI is negative. Level positive, and the square coefficient is negative, which shows the inverted U-shaped relationship. It shows the lower level of HDI increase environmental degradation, but after reaching a certain limit, it decline environmental degradation. But when we estimate the cutoff value, its value is 1.77. We all know that the HDI value is lie between 0 and 1. So this value, this cutoff value is beyond the maximum and minimum value of the uh, uh, value of HDI. So theoretically, there exists inverted U-shape curve, but empirically, there is no exist of the inverted U-shape curve in this literature. So when we estimate the linearized marginal effect, it shows that all countries um, is lies on the left side of the inverted U-shape curve, and left curve shows the positive relationship between HDI and ecological footprint. It means every country, every developed countries, their HDI values, their still their HDI values higher, but they are increasing ecological footprint. And in my developing countries, the level coefficient is negative and the quadratic coefficient is positive. So in this case, there is this exists U-shaped relationship. It means that any lower level of HDA decline ecological footprint, but the higher level of HDI increasing the ecological footprint. And when we estimate the cutoff value, it's 0.2. It means there are some countries which are before the maturity and some countries are light on the after the maturity. By using the Jeremy Dawson's websites and trace these effects by using the original data of the linear and quadratic coefficient of HDI and HDI square, and it shows the U-shape, uh, inverted U-shape, simple mean like a supply curve, and U-shape is also like a supply curve. Means both of these shows that their HDI increases ecological footprint. These are the result of the developed through the PQR approach, and as in developed countries, lower level of HDI decline ecological footprint, while the higher level of HDI increases ecological footprint. Both of these variables shows the U-shaped relationship, and their cutoff value is 0.43 and 0.35. It shows there is exists U-shaped relationship, and there is some countries which are made before the maturity, and some are situated after the maturity. And in the developed countries, there is also this U-shaped relationship. These these are the graphs which also derive from the Jeremy Dawson's Excel sheets. And now I present the conclusion of my first objective. The empirical result of CSARDL approach shows that there exists inverted U-shaped relationship between HDI and ecological footprint in developed countries. Further estimation shows that it is not fulfill the EKC requirement because it failed to achieve the threshold point of the inverted U-shaped curve. Additionally, in developing countries, it shows a U-shaped relationship between HDI and ecological footprint. The PQR estimation shows that the shape relationship exists in the developed and the developing countries, and it also shows that the traditional EKC framework fail of the inverted U-shape curve in both cases, developed as well as in the developed countries. The linearized marginal effect shows that the developed country achieved the threshold point, and all countries move to the right side of the U-shaped curve. Right means positive relationship, means all countries increasing the ecological footprint, while the Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Burundi, Chad, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, and Liberia, Mali, Mozambique, Niger, Sierra Leone lie before the turning point of the their ecological footprints are too much lower. Due to this reason, they are lower contributing in the environmental degradation. My second objective is related to the empirical verification of the ecological footprint, and this is a descriptive stats and diagnostic test shows there is not issue of the multicollinearity. The series are not normally distributed, exist cross-sectional dependency, and exist heteroscedasticity, slope heterogeneity, and there is no exist of the autocorrelation, and all variables become stationary. The long run coefficients of CSARDL is presented here. The level coefficient is positive and the quadratic is negative. It shows the inverted U-shaped relationship between in the developed countries, while in the developing countries there is exists U-shaped relationship. These results are drawn by using the Jeremy Dawson's Excel sheets, and in developed country there is exist like a U inverted U-shape curve, and the big portion is the positive side, the right, left side, but in the developing country the positive side is also bigger than the negative side. These are the results are drawn from the PQR approach. Their result shows the U-shaped relationship in developed as well as in the developing countries, and these are drawn from the Jeremy Dawson's Excel sheets. The CSARDL approach shows that developed country ecological footprint and health vulnerability have inverted U-shaped relationship, while a U-shaped relationship exists in developing country. Furthermore, the PQR approach shows a U-shaped relationship between ecological footprint and health vulnerability in all groups uh, in developed countries. The linearized marginal effect shows that the Bahrain, Luxembourg, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and United States are located after the maturity of the U-shaped curve. In contrast, the remaining developed countries are located before maturity. This shows that still there there are the high lower health vulnerability, but in future they can cross the threshold point and started increasing the health vulnerabilities. The third mode is the moderation effect of green technological innovation. And in this model, there is not existed multicollinearity, there is not normally distributed, exist cross-sectional dependency, presence of hetero, exist slope heterogeneity, but there is absence of autocorrelation, and stationary all become stationary in first and level, and there is exist long run co-integration between the models. The level coefficient of ecological footprint is positive and quadratic is negative, which shows the inverted U-shaped curves. And the green technological variable is used as a moderator variable, which is adversely impact the health vulnerability. The interaction term of green technological with the linear and quadratic shows uh, uh, there is negative and positive curves. And this is estimated through a formula which I discussed in the last slide, that how this green technological innovation is effective or not effective. In the same way, in developing countries, a U-shaped curve existed, which shows that the lower level of ecological footprint declined, health vulnerability, while the higher ecological footprint declined. And this shows that either a green technological as a moderator shift the turning point or not. Either turning point the left side or the right side of the inverted U-shape or U-shape relationship. These are traced from the Jeremy Dawson's. This shows the higher moderator shift the our and our relationship downward in developed as well as in the developed countries. As seen in the PQR approach, the lower there exist in higher ecological footprint and middle ecological footprint. The the relationship of interaction term is suitable, while in lower and middle is not suitable in developed, while in lower and higher in developing countries not suitable. This is a formula which I was discussing. The CSARDL approach that the shifting point of the right side of the inverted U-shaped curves, while in developing country, the shifting point of the situated left side of the inverted U-shaped curve. PQR approach also shows in group 3 that the shift turning point to the left side of the U-shaped curve, while in developing countries, the shift turning point to the right of the inverted U-shaped curves. The CSARDL approach demonstrates that in developed countries, green technology shift the turning point to the right side of the inverted U-shaped curve, while in developing country, it shifts the turning point to the left side of the U-shaped curve, which shows the potential implication for health vulnerability and environmental policy. The PQR approach, U-shaped relationship between ecological footprint and health vulnerability, and the green technological innovation shift the turning point to the left side of the ecological footprint in developed and right side in the developing countries. This is my last objective, moderation effect of empirical moderation of ecological in energy tax. These are the diagnostic tests. And the CSARDL approach in developed country, inverted U-shaped curve and energy tax is use a moderator which shift the turning point of the ecological foot, because all these 5 variables are significant, they impact the health vulnerability. In developing countries, there is also a significant role of the moderator because all 5 terms are significantly low in is not significantly impact the developing countries. These are the diagrams and this is a result of PQR approach and developing as well as in the developed countries. These are the trace effect conclusion. The CSARDL approach shows that there is inverted U-shaped relationship between ecological footprint and health vulnerability. And the both of these approach shows the turning point shift to the left side and further flattens. In the policy recommendation portion, the first border recommend that higher ecological footprint should investment in environmental friendly technologies and practices to reduce their adverse environmental impacts, and developed countries and international organizations should provide funds to a technical assistance and knowledge sharing to support sustainable development in developing countries. And the second model suggests that the government of all global countries should pay special attention to declining ecological footprint. Government should enhance sustainable economic growth. The third model recommends that the government should adopt green technological innovations through tax credit subsidies and other incentives. And government should also educate the public about the benefit of green technological innovation. The third model suggests that the government should increase energy tax and the government should implement the energy tax policies to encourage enterprises and investors. And future research, the first model is extended to the micro level, to the individual country level. And the second model can be extended for the future research from different other climate vulnerabilities like ecosystem, water infrastructure, The third model can be extended for future research by using the different proxies of environmental degradation, such as greenhouse gas, carbon footprint, or others. And the fourth can be extended by using the institution quality as a moderator variable. Thank you very much. See you. Allah Hafiz.